What's going on, everyone? This is Avi from NBA Sesh. That's NBA_Sesh. And today I'm going to bring to you for December 25th, Christmas Day, NBA slate of the best player props, picks, and tips for you to have a successful day of betting. Now, obviously, what you do with that is up to you, but I'm going to be sharing why I think that you should go for some of these and some of the ones that I picked that I won and I lost from last time. So let's get into it. My first one is going to be um, my first one is Austin Reeves. So Austin Reeves started for the LA Lakers when they played OKC and they actually won the game. They were on a four-game losing streak. Uh, Darwin Hand, the coach, inserted him into the lineup, and they won. And he almost went over this line at 24 and a half points, rebounds, and assists. He had 23, so he literally needed to score one time. Um, he needed to grab a couple rebounds, and he would have got this. The line opened up today. It opened at 22 and a half, so it actually went up. I think because he's going to continue starting, I'm assuming. And Anthony Davis is a game time decision. I didn't watch the game, but I assume he might have suffered a potential ankle sprain. And let's see what it says here. He's questionable. Um, and due to different ailments. So, Anthony Davis and LeBron. I'm surprised LeBron James is not on here. But Anthony Davis and LeBron James is on the injury report like every game as questionable or probable. But I think if Anthony Davis is actually not on here, this is more of a chance for Austin Reeves to go over this line. Another one you could go for is Austin Reeves points over 20 and a half points and assists. I think I like this line a little better because usually he scores. This is his lowest point production in the last 10 games. And if you go the last 20 games, this was when he was hot for a while, and here, if you look, they got crushed. They crushed. I was gonna say Detroit crushed them. No, obviously that's not happening with Detroit's 25 game losing streak. But the Lakers crushed Detroit, so Austin Reeves didn't get. He still got decent amount of playing time. But I mean, look at all this green right here, and look at all this. Obviously players cool down, but I think he's locked in and he's ready to go. The only thing I would say that, well, this was last year. He wasn't playing as much last year, so you can't even look at that. Um, but the last 10 games, and the last 5 games, he's hit this mark pretty well. But so I'm going with Austin Reeves over 20 and a half points and assists, and you could even play the points, rebounds, and assists. The next pick is Jaylen Brown over 23 and a half points. When going head to head, he played them twice. The last two times, uh, one time was last year or last season in January 28th, and then the year before that in December. And he went over the last 20 games. He's hit this at a 50% mark. But why I like this is because I feel like he's been scoring consistently. The last 5 games, he hit this mark 80% of the time. And a guy like Jaylen Brown should be averaging over 21 points a game easy. I mean, they didn't give him that supermax deal for no reason. Um, and the Celtics are locked in. They're always playing hard. It's always a playoff environment when they play the Lakers, and they just crushed the Clippers. They scored 145 points on them. So, granted, I think Paul George didn't play, but still, 145 to like 113 or 108, something like that. It's crazy. And so I'm going with Jaylen Brown over 23 and a half points. Now, obviously, you do want it to stay a close game because then if it is a blowout, there's a chance for um, him not to hit this. And you never know with the Lakers. I feel like with the Lakers, you definitely never know what could happen, especially if Anthony Davis doesn't play. LeBron James had a 40-point game versus OKC on the 28th. I'm sorry, on the 23rd, which was yesterday. I'm recording this Christmas Eve. So on the 23rd, he had a 40-point game. Could we ask him to do that again? Probably not. He's not a spring chicken anymore, even though he plays like one. The next pick, the third pick. Oh, before I actually get into the third pick, I want to actually um, look at a honorable mention here because Outlier shows that Jason Tatum is under 41 and a half points, rebounds, and assists, right? So normally I would take this also because if you look at the last five, it's 100%. Last 20, 75%. For this year so far, 67%. But guess what? If you look at head to head, he went over this mark each time he played the Lakers. And like I said earlier, Celtics are locked in because they know there's a history between them. They're kind of on a big stage. They're playing in LA, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe that Jason Tatum was always a Laker fan too when he was growing up. So this is a big thing, and that's why I'm not sure if this is going to be my final pick, but I think I'm going to take the over because this is one of those things to me. It's like, and the over mark is minus 111, so it's not like the odds are like crazy, and I think this is kind of like a trap for the under. I must say, I took the last time I took the under for Paolo and the under in points for Halliburton, and they both went over. And the numbers, really were all in the green to go under. And of course, Orlando playing the Indiana Pacers, which have one of the fastest pace in offense and one of the worst defenses. He goes over, and I took that. I didn't put a lot of money on it, but I took that to see if it's going to change course just because of the style of play, and it did. And I think that was a trap, and I fell for it. And now I probably will add this to my picks. So you could say this was a third pick. The fourth pick, I'm going with Kevin Durant, under 8.5 rebounds. He's hasn't really hit. He's never went over um, the this many rebounds. He hasn't went over 8.5 rebounds for most of the season so far. Now Nurkic is out, so if you know the last time when Nurkic was out, he went over. Um, he did go over that mark. I wanted to also see if he would go over that mark in Sacramento over Sacramento, and he didn't. So I like this under again. Am I going? This will be my final pick. But if he does go over it, I'm not going to be too upset just because it's kind of like you know he hasn't really done it. I mean, for a while, and he's gotten close versus the Golden State Warriors. But let's see with Nurkic out again. The last ten he was out. Yeah, it's at 50%. So this is versus Dallas too. Um, so you never know. I mean, I feel like I'm starting to doubt myself a little bit, but let's see what happens. The last final play is Damian Lillard over 3.5 rebounds. Out minus 165 on DraftKings. I usually use DraftKings. I will start shopping for better odds and using different platforms as I go along. But look at these numbers. I mean, you can't go wrong with this. Last 80% he went over. Head to head versus the Knicks, 67%. The last time he had 9 rebounds. This is definitely an anomaly, an outlier. Let's see if he probably won't have that again. But I'm fairly confident he's going to go over. And then the last one that he went under was the Spurs. And he literally by 1 rebound. So even when he did miss, he missed by 1 rebound, which is amazing. Damian Lillard's a pretty good rebounder. So I'm definitely going to take this as my pick. I believe I took Damian Lillard points, rebounds, and assists versus the Knicks. And look at this, man. Like, literally 1 point. He missed it by 1 point. And that's crazy. I might take this again, but I don't know. I feel like with Damian Lillard, he had 19 points, which isn't a lot for him. I don't remember his field goal percentage was that game, but like I feel like with guys like Damian Lillard and Durant and Giannis, you just never know. They could have like a 20-point game or a 40-point game. It's harder to predict with them. And those are my picks. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Feel free to add yours. Embiid is out, so there could be some plays there with Tyrese Maxey, but they are playing the Heat, and I think Jimmy Butler is a game time decision. And I think he might come back, and I think he's going to make sure to beat the Sixers. So I'm definitely going to look out for his line there. And yeah, please follow NBA Sesh, and hope to see you guys again.